Hello everyone, I'm going to be talking about the first option in the final project. It's a GUI which embeds a map of intersections and roads inside PyQt5, and it's basically it gets the information from a SQL database, and that's how it plots it. So this is my main folder. I have a main.py and I also have an appui.py, and appui.py is about 490 lines of code, and it has all the functions and connections of the buttons, and main.py is basically where you run the code. And so I'm gonna run main over here. So this is the GUI. As you can see, the menu buttons are there. You have the database connect and disconnect. You have the view list of intersections and list of streets, and enter full screen, and also help about the app. First of all, I wanted to make sure that when the database is not connected, none of these buttons would actually do anything, and they would, safely, without crashing the application, they would generate a message. So as you can see, when I click show streets and there is no database connected, it gives this error, there is no connected database. And same thing for any button. Export to PNG also doesn't work, there is no plot to export. And same for export to PDF, and if I press list intersections, again there is no connected database. So you can see how that exception handling thing is kind of happening over there. And when I press database connect, it opens this file dialog, and I select map.dv, and you can navigate to anywhere you want, like in desktop or anywhere, but mine is right here in the same folder. And I press open, and it actually takes a few seconds, like about 3-4 seconds, and says database connected. Also, to quickly explain, the reason why it takes a few seconds is actually the way I developed the app. When it connects to the database, it actually generates the plots already. Like when it's connecting to the database, at the same time it's also generating all the needed plots. So that's why it takes a few seconds. When I press disconnect, it says database disconnected. Now there's no database connected right now, so if I press database disconnect, it again says there is no connected database. And so finally, let's press database connect again to go into the plotting. And also, once the database is connected, if I press connect, it opens this thing again, but if I press cancel, it says either no file is selected or selected file is not a database, only .db files. But since I already had selected the database, now everything should work. So I press show streets, and it shows the streets, and it adds the intersection layer. If I take this away, it takes that layer away. And when I press show street names, it has a bit of delay for show street names for some reason. Yeah, there you go. That had never happened before, but and you can see that everything is working quite well. The layers are being removed and things like that. So you can see that the layers are functioning correctly. And now let's click export to PNG, and there's no plot to export obviously, so let's select one of the layers, and now I press export to PNG. A window dialog, file dialog opens, and the title is export to PNG. And so you can see that there is a default name for every different layer. Since this is intersections, the layer is called fig_I, I short for intersections. And this is my projects folder, and let me actually open it right now so that you see there's nothing in images. It's a empty directory. And now let's select images and figi.png. Let's save it and let's go back to here, and figi.png is here. And the DPI is actually quite high, so you would get good quality when saving the files. I know one thing that was mentioned as a good to have feature in the app was that the maps could be zoomable, so that would have been a nice to have feature, but I wasn't able to implement that. Instead, when you open each of the files, you get quite a good quality after saving them. So now, just to make sure everything is working, like when I select all 3 layers and export to PNG, you can see it came here in the background, and obviously the names cannot be read from here, like just by looking at the plot viewer, but as you can see, once you save the PNG and zoom in, everything is quite clear over here. And so yeah, that's pretty much regarding the exporting. Also, let me show export to PDF. A dialog, file dialog opens titled export to PDF, and the default name, for example, SIN here means streets, intersections, and names. That's what SIN means. And when I press save to PDF, it saves it to PDF. And you can see like the quality is very good once you save to PDF. So yeah, once you zoom in, you can see everything quite well. And yeah, that's about pretty much all these button functions. And let me go to the lists over here. So in the view, the video cut out for some reason. So I was explaining the lists. So if you select list intersection, for instance, you can see that it gives you a complete list of all the intersections with the x coordinate, y coordinate, and type of feature, if they have traffic light or crosswalks. And for list streets, it gives you the same, the road name, road ID. X1, Y1 is the coordinates of the first node, and X2, Y2 are the coordinates for the other side of that road. And you can see that the maximize and minimize buttons also work here. And so yeah, there's also one help about the app, and it's an informative text and just says this app is developed by Bornar Khedri, and just some stuff about how to use the app. Oh, one thing I also wanted to mention, so now that the database is disconnected, for instance, you can see that the saving errors, and you can also hear the sound on Windows with the X. So these are all critical warning messages. So these message boxes that pop up, they all have like features which are native to the OS that you're on. So when something critical happens, it gives you the X icon. In contrast, when when you click on help and about the app, it has the I icon for informative. So yeah, that's pretty much the app. And just one thing to add is that the app is not unfortunately dynamic when you kind of like open and close the windows. And that is because I did not embed it on purpose. So like when you maximize or close it like this, it basically doesn't change the size of everything else. That's one downside that I accept that I wasn't able to implement that, but another thing is the limited time we had for this project. Nothing's perfect. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and that's pretty much all I had to say. And let me know if there are any questions, and thanks again. Bye.